Thank you for tuning in to NDTV's special coverage of Euro 2012. My name is Arjun Pandit, and joining me on the show in the red corner, NDTV's resident football expert Scott O'Donnell, also the technical director of the AIFF Academies, while in the blue corner, we have the General Secretary of the Shillong Lajong Football Club, the first team from the Northeast to play in the I-League, Mr. Larsing Ming. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. But before we get into discussion mode, let's start with the big game played out last night. Vicente Del Bosque surprised one and all by not playing an out-and-out striker in Spain's first game of Euro 2012. The result, a 1-1 draw with Italy. Time to get into analysis mode, and the discussion is pretty much focusing on the one big decision. Spain has started this trend of not playing an out-and-out striker. Scott O'Donnell.
No, this is the first time that I'm seeing something like this, and I'm quite surprised. However, I think Del Bosque has got a slight problem because at the end of the day, David Villa is not here, and Torres, as we all know, has had a dreadful season for the last couple of seasons, and I guess he's decided to go for a more possession-based game and possibly wear out the team and then take out Torres towards the last 15 minutes, which exactly what he did.
But did you think that probably the Italians were giving them a bit too much respect in the first half?
Obviously, and I don't blame them, because Spain, obviously world champions, defending champions, and practically 80% of the team is a Barcelona lineup. So everyone knows that they're the best ball players in the game today.
Absolutely. But talking about Spain, first game over there, I mean, you've still gone out, you got your result over there without Villa, your top striker, Torres still not in form. Do you think they'll be happy with this?
No, obviously they won't, but a draw against Italy is a better start than how they started the World Cup.
Yeah.
And considering that they had conceded at that point of the game, to come back was credible.
I think if your team had a player like Mario Balotelli, what would you tell him?
I think that's a very difficult question. I don't think there are many coaches in world football today that can deal with someone like Balotelli, but I think he should be sent to Manchester United.
You think he should be sent to Manchester United? Yeah. Why is that?
Well, there's a guy called Fergie there, and I possibly think he's one of the few people who could possibly handle a creative player like him.
But he's got talent. I mean, you can see when he's on the ball, he was creating problems for Ramos before he was, substituted yesterday.
True, and but with talent comes a lot of. He's got explosive mentality as well, and that needs to be really contained. And if he can do that in the next 2 seasons, I think he'll be one of the top strikers in world football.
Quick question: was this the best game of Euro 2012 so far?
So far, without a shadow of doubt. It was exciting. There was end-to-end action, fantastic possession play from Spain. Italy, in fact, I thought did exceedingly well.
Yeah.
And there was end-to-end goal-mouth action from both sides.
On to the final group of Euro 2012, and England will take on France in the first game tonight, sans Wayne Rooney, who is serving a 2-match suspension. But Larsing, looking at that formation over there, where do you see a weakness as far as, if the French team is looking at this, where do you see a weakness over there?
I think the weakness would be basically with Parker, because he's someone who doesn't have much of international experience, and that's where guys like Nazari and Ribéry and all can really create havoc. And if they control the midfield, and it's going to be a very tough night for England.
Everyone is saying England don't go into this as favourites. England has injury problems. England is not creative enough. There's no Wayne Rooney as well. Do you think that could play for them as well? Keeping in mind that everyone's not counting them so much, that could really work for them.
Arjun, I think you're right, because this is the first time in possibly 30 years that England goes into a tournament without any sort of pressure at all. And usually a tournament, there's a lot of hype and hysteria over the English team, and the fact that some of these stars are actually not there, like Lampard and company, is actually going to give a lot of a big boost to the young players like Welbeck and Ashley Young to prove themselves at this stage.
What do you pick today?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah?
As in, there are going to be at least more than 2 goals in this game, because England, whenever they play, especially with a team like France, they're going to be goals either ways.
Alright, if they're going to be goals, that means it's great to watch a game, isn't it? Did you know that a top I-League club from the Northeast has tied up with the top-level Danish club, or that Baichung Bhutia's United Sikkim is owned by a Dubai-based firm? Yes, you've guessed it right. Indian football does have a foreign connection. Is the graph of the I-League on the upward scale?
Definitely so. I mean, in terms of, I think the standard of the league over the last couple of years has definitely been increasing, and with football really becoming increasingly more popular in the country today, I think things are just going to look up.
But as far as the tie-up is concerned, how has it benefited you guys?
Well,
Because where it's coming from is that we're getting into a lot of these foreign clubs, we're getting matches, we're doing talent hunts,
Right.
but that's more like making money for a very small purpose, rather than really helping the club in a whole, or Indian football as a whole.
True. No, there's always been a debate about these big European clubs coming into countries in Asia and whether what they do in these parts of the world really do help football in our backyard. But however, our tie-up is slightly different in the sense that basically Anglian Holdings has invested into this Danish team as well as Lajong. So in that way, we have a symbiotic relationship, and I think at this point of time, the relationship will be more or less unilateral in the sense that we have a lot more to learn from the Danish team than they from us. So we're going to take this opportunity to kind of understand how clubs operate at the European level, understand the kind of coaching and the entire way that clubs are run in abroad.
Okay. Scott, very quickly, we're running out of time. Such tie-ups like this, more and more tie-ups, good for Indian football?
I think if they can be very beneficial as long as the European club or the foreign club is in it for the right reasons, and that's helped to develop the local clubs here in India.
Alright, Scott, Larsing, thank you so much for joining us on our show. Obviously, our coverage of Euro 2012 will go on all throughout this entire month till the 1st of July. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates will follow on the other side. Here's a reminder for our special show, Battle for Europe, Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., which is today, and also Saturday to Sunday, 8:30 a.m. as well. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.